Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the US, 10 a.m. in Australia or 1 a.m. if you're in the UK. And if you miss the live streams, you can catch up with the premiere event streams on a Friday and Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time in the US, 7 a.m. in Australia or 1 a.m. if you're in the UK. Hope all you guys and girls are well. We are going to continue working on the Temple of the Winds 3D model we're making in 3D Studio Max. We've been texturing it up in Substance Painter. We finished that yesterday, texturing all of the assets up. What we're going to start doing now is just take a couple of the assets into Mari by the Foundry. Smurfberry Barbecue, good to see you, buddy. How are you? Hope you're well. We're going to take a couple of the assets into Mari just to do a bit of an overpaint on them. I'm basically going to use Mari just to actually dirty up a couple of the assets a little bit more. Just a couple I think could benefit from just having a bit of an overpaint. So I'm not going to be overpainting textures as such. I'm just going to be overpainting a bit of dirt and grime on them, I think. Today was... Why was it super stressful, Smurfberry? Tell me, why was the day super stressful? And that's no good. Stress is not good for you. Stress is very, very bad for you. We all have days like that though. I'm just going to grab a quick drink. Reasons, okay. Well, reasons are good reason enough. So anyway. Relax, Smurfberry, chill. Don't stress. It's not good for your health. So let's open up Max and check out the model. So this is the model we've been working on and we've just finished texturing up in Substance Painter yesterday. We're finally going to be jumping into Mari, finally. And I'm not going to take all of the assets into Mari. I'm just going to take a select view into Mari and do an overpaint on. Mainly around the edges here, a couple of the assets on the top here, maybe the steps as well. So just a few bits and pieces we'll take in. Mr. Squarepeg, hello to you too. It's good to see you, Mr. Squarepeg. How are you? Always good to see you guys. And Mr. Squarepeg, hello. That's the plan. Remember, as always though guys, if you've got any questions while I'm working, please feel free to pop into the chat and ask me. If I can help you in any way doing your 3D work, I'm happy to try. You're doing well? Good to hear, Mr. Squarepeg. Smurfberry's stressed, so send the love vibe Smurfberry's way to try and calm him down. Feel free to pop into chat and ask me any questions. If you've got any, if you just want to pop in like these guys and say hello, that is always welcome. But if all you want to do is watch, then that's completely fine. I get it. Many times there are streamers that I don't want to talk to. I just want to watch. The fact that you're watching is what matters. And also remember to join the Discord server if you haven't already, the Phil Does 3D Discord, because only subs can post links in my Twitch chat, but everyone can post links to their work in Discord. So there you go. You'll find an invite link below my stream in my panels. All right, let's do it, shall we? Let's get stuck in. When we started texturing it up, we started from the inside and worked our way out. Just for something different, let's start on the outside and work our way in. So let's start with this, I think. These borders that run around the outside edge. And they are called, what are they called? Rail border. Rail borders main, okay. Let me see. I think we've already exported the file, the FBX file, so I'm just going to double check. We had to do the export when we were painting it up in Mari. I've got everything in its own folder, so it should be easy to find. It's that one there. We do have an FBX file here, so let's see if we can't use that. Let's see. I won't close that down because I want to check it for the other pieces. Let's jump into Mari. And let's create a new project. Load up the model. Find my directory. What was it called? Oh man, what was it called again? I have the folder open. What's the folder called? Rail Borders Main 2. And that's the file we want. Smurfberry says, Phil, have you ever used any terrain generation software like World Machine or Terragen? I've used both briefly. I tend to use Eonview to do my my texture work now, my landscape generation stuff. So Eonview is what I generally use now. But I have used World Machine and I have used Terragen, not for a very long time, and I only use them briefly. Like every time there's a piece of software that people talk about, I always like to check it out, see if it could be incorporated into the studio's workflow. So I've looked at them briefly, but I don't use them. I use View. But they are very good. I'm not dissing them at all. They're both very, very good. I'm just checking what it has set up here for me. I'm only interested in the color channel from this program. I'm not interested in the normals or anything else. We're going to use the normals we made in Substance Painter. So let's create a new project. Now it's been a little while since I've used Mari as well, so bear with me if I look like I'm a bit lost at some stage. Come on, Mari, what are you doing? Come on, Mari. You can do it. You know, I think what's happening here is that... No, maybe not. I was just about to say that FBX file that I'm trying to import here is the one that we use the plugin in Max to send to Substance, and that plugin in Max is a little bit temperamental, and I've noticed it can actually corrupt models on export, so... Smoker says, oh right, I haven't examined View yet. Yeah, Eonview, I can recommend it. Oh, there we go. You got there eventually, that's the important thing. I can recommend Eonview. You guys, I'm going to be jumping into View to do the beauty renders for that model that we're working on in Max. So in the next week or so, we'll be working in Eonview. So any guys that aren't familiar with View, you can watch my stream and watch me working in that program. I have edge masking turned on here in Mari, and all that does is it makes it so when I'm painting on my model here, I don't accidentally paint through to areas I don't want. It masks them out. It's a bit hard. There we go. It's a better view that way. And it's dependent on the angle of your camera here as you're painting on the model. All right, let's bring in some dirt masks. Eonview, Terragen and World Machine. World Machine is more like Eonview. Terragen, or is it Terragen? I always get them mixed. I think World Machine is more like Eonview. Terragen, from memory, really just does landscapes. Just does, landscapes. Whereas Eonview does landscapes, does plants, does wind animation, all that sort of stuff. So you can use it just for landscapes if that's what you want, but it's actually meant to be used a lot more than that. Yes, let's bring in some texture maps. I have my textures folder here, and I've got my dirt and graffiti subfolder. We'll bring in the high resolution maps. That's really annoying. Anyway, let's bring in all of these. I can't get a preview of them. That's sort of what I was looking for here, which is, you know how you can get a small graphic of the image. I don't believe that there is a way to do that here in Mari, which is a bit annoying, but anyway. But I do believe what Mari does is it creates these thumbnails, but they're only references, so it's not actually loading this texture up yet, it's just generating a small thumbnail. And that's probably the reason why it's not in the browser, the file browser itself. So I don't think by loading these up you're using your memory. You're really not, because it's only generating a small thumbnail. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in the rest of them as well. It's not until you actually pull the texture into the viewport, I believe, that Mari actually loads the bitmap into memory. Oh, Terragen does plants clouds. Oh, then I'm getting Terragen confused with World Machine. It must be World Machine that doesn't do the plants. Am I correct? Because one of them, I'm sure, is just for landscapes and erosion, and one of them is like View, and I always get the two mixed up. Pretty sure World Machine only does terrain. Okay, I knew it was one of the two. Yes, but you are right. One of them, be it World Machine or Terragen, does do the full-on environment like Eonview. Having said that, when I last used that program and compared it to Eonview, I found Eonview easier to use than Terragen or World Machine, whichever one it is. Yeah, I just found the interface in Eonview a little bit more user-friendly than the one in Terragen or World Machine, whichever one. But they both do like excellent results. You get great results out of both of them. So it's just the workflow I found a little bit easier in Eonview. Okay, so we have all of our texture maps here. Let's choose something now. But what I want to do here is I want to start by just adding a dirt layer to the base of this border area. I'm just going to zoom in here so we can get a nice close-up view. Ignore that stair stepping there, that's all hidden inside of the mesh inside the model. So. Okay, what are we doing? We are finding a texture we can place along the base here. Actually, just before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the texture, the color texture we created in Substance Painter for this asset. So import into current layer. I don't know why these interfaces don't remember how you set them up. Like, you know, it starts with this pulled all the way over and covers half of what I want. So I pull it out. I wish it would remember that, but it never seems to. Substance Painter is the same. It doesn't remember your settings either sometimes. Where am I going? I'm going to temp, send to substance, rail borders main 2. Just going to clear that so I can see my files. And we want the base color. There we go. So that just gives us an idea of the color that we're painting over. But I don't want to paint over my original layer, so I'm going to create a new layer. That way, if we don't like it, we can remove it without damaging the original bitmap. Okay, so now we need to find something to paint over. And I want... What do I want? Let's see what this one looks like. No, that's not what I want. Let's see what... I'll know it when I see it. Let's see what this one looks like. This one might be okay. Android Lust, it's good to see you, buddy. How are you? I saw the image you posted in the Discord server. I'll show it toward the end of the stream to everyone. It looks very nice. Android Lust posted images in the Discord gallery of a character, a female character that he's been working on, that he modeled and textured, and it looks great. I love the composition as well. But it's good to see you, Android Lust. We're in Mari doing a texture paint overpaint at the moment for our model. You're pretty good? Good to hear. I chose the same one I didn't want before. Way to go, Philip. Come on, I've got to be able to find something I like. Android Lust says, I was wondering what software this is. I never used Mari. Yes, we're working in Mari by the Foundry. Now, it is expensive software, but you can download it for free, and it's fully functional up to, I think you can only export up to 4K textures, which for most of you guys is going to be fine. Mari is really made to do film work, so you can export textures that are like 128K, that sort of thing. But it's really useful even if you do games work or just for your portfolio, if you want to add some detail to your models, because you can still export up to 4K your textures using the completely free version that you can download from the Foundry's website. Like I said, it's completely fully functional. Yeah, no, 4K isn't bad. Smurfree says 4K, wow, I'm surprised they allow an export of that size for free. Yeah, they do. Well, they used to. I'm pretty sure they still do. So yeah, the software is fully functional, completely the same as the software you get if you pay for it. But the restriction, I believe, is only up to 4K textures can be exported. But again, I think that's because they made the software to work for people that work in film, and those people need textures that, like I said, are 128K. So restricting it to 4K, they're probably thinking of it from a film point of view. Like, they don't want film people to actually use the software for free. So that's why they're restricted to 4K. Because 4K for film work is too low. I don't think you'd ever actually use 4K textures on a film model. It'd always be much higher than that. So yeah, 4K, I'm pretty sure up to 4K you can export. It's completely free. Download it from their website and run it. I think they call it their indie version. I think they call it the indie version. So anyway, that's what it is, and that's where you can get it. It's from a company called The Foundry, and the software is called Mari, M-A-R-I. Smurfberry says that blue paint render was 4K textures. Yeah, no, that plant render I can't read. Yeah, no, it looked great. But my point being that when you work for a film studio, the textures you're working with are really large, and the UDIMs are huge. So, you know, you can have over 100 UDIMs and a texture over 128K. That's pretty standard, really, depending on the asset and all that sort of stuff, and how close the camera has to get to it and all that sort of business. Pretty much the same as games sort of thing. Just times it by 10 or 100. It's like games development times 10 or 100 as far as poly counts and texture sizes and all that sort of stuff goes. But the blue plant looked great at 4K, and 4K is great. It's certainly high resolution for a game. If you're making a game asset, 4K is more than enough. For sure. Let's use this one. This one will work for us. I got there eventually. If I can, there we go. If I can remember the shortcuts to actually make my changes to the asset here. Okay, so we've got the control key which rotates the bitmap, the shift key which moves it, and the control and shift key which scales it. Just for those people that are wondering what shortcut keys I'm using here. Okay, let's do an overpaint here. We're on a new layer so we don't destroy the underlying bitmap. I'm just going to paint it down, and then I'm going to change the blending mode. Now the thing to remember when you work with Mari just as a refresher for those guys that didn't watch me work in Mari before. I painted that down, but if I move it now, that image is actually in the paint buffer. Let me just move this out of the way. That is actually not painted on the model yet. So if I rotate my model view, the image is going to stay in the paint buffer straight on. Now that's good if you want to sort of like make some small adjustments to your model before you actually bake it down. But in order to bake it down, you have to press the B key. Now you can set up Mari to do this automatically for you. So as soon as you start to rotate your model, it bakes it down for you. I prefer to actually not have it do that. I prefer to actually have it so I have to press the B key. That way, if I need to move the model or make some small adjustments, I can do that before I bake it down. Whereas if I was to start rotating the model immediately like that, in the default state, it would bake it down. So anyway, let's change the blending mode. I'm just going to add an invert on the layer stack because I want the dark, not the white. So I'm using a black and white image here, but yeah, I want it to look like dirt, not the other way around. So I just inverted it. Okay, so we're working on a darken. Let's see what a multiply looks like. And I actually prefer a multiply, but I want to pull it back just a little bit. So I'm just pulling it back just to give us a little bit of a dirt look. And that'll work for what we want, so let's keep going around the model. B to bake it down. Always must remember to press the B key. And remember too, to put edge, make sure you turn edge masking on if you're using Mari, because you don't want to paint through to the other side of the model. Mari is really the only program I'm aware of that has this live edge masking in the viewport. I don't believe Substance Painter does, and it's really helpful, really useful. Just going to angle that up a little bit. Smurfer says, View is only a subscription service. Yes, they changed it. You used to be able to buy it outright, but I can't remember how long ago, but not that long ago, Eonview decided that they wanted to be like everybody else and they were going to make their software subscription only. I believe it's only subscription now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but you can download the PLE, Personal Learning Edition, Smurfberry. And it does watermark your renders, I believe. But I think you can still create your landscapes, and I'm pretty sure you can still export them. Like if you want to export them as a grayscale image or something to bring them into another program to recreate the landscape. That's what I did for the House on the Hollow game we're going to be working on. I created the landscape in Eonview, exported it as a 16-bit grayscale image, and then imported that into the Unreal Engine to actually create the landscape using the landscape tool in Unreal. So all of that I'm pretty sure is still functional as well. You can still use all of that in View. but I think that renders are watermarked from memory, in the personal learning edition anyway. But that's completely free to download and use, so... So keep that in mind. If you don't want to spend any money subbing, getting a subscription to use their software, then just download the Personal Learning Edition. You can't swap anything you save, like any scenes you save in the Personal Learning Edition, I believe can only be opened on your machine. You can't then give that to somebody else that has the PLE or Eonview and open it up. It's sort of like it's locked down to your machine. That's just if you're saving out in View's native format. So, you know, you make a nice scene and you want to give it to your friend who has View as well. They won't be able to open it if you're using the PLE version. It's locked down to your machine only. But that's only, like I said, for stuff you save, like just for the file that you save out. If you're saving out like the tip images or grayscale images from the landscape tool, I'm pretty sure that should be fine. The software is good though. Look, I'm not, you know, I've used View for many years. We use it a lot in the studio at work to do the environments for our ArchViz renders. So it is good software. It's used in film a lot, actually. It's used, a lot of film studios have used Eonview to do the environments for a lot of the movies you guys and I like to watch. Generally, the environments for those films have been done in Eonview. Not exclusively, but a lot of them have. But you're right. Another one of those companies that have gone subscription only. These ones now. Let's create another layer so that we can make adjustments individually. And for this one, let's choose something else, another bitmap. Smurfberry says 1 polygon out of 20 is removed from exporting geometry. What a weird limitation. SpeedTree do the same thing though. If you download the demo version of SpeedTree, they do the same thing. They remove 1 poly in every however many if you try and export a model and it's unlicensed. So they're not the only company to behave that way. SpeedTree do the same thing. But it is weird, I agree. Android Lust says, so dumb, me just realised I have an actual permanent Mari license. Well, you remind me of it. Well, there you go. You got a permanent Mari license, then use Mari. I love Mari. It's great texture painting. I find it really therapeutic, number one, to get in here and paint textures by hand, and really enjoyable. I like painting stuff by hand. Substance Painter is great to texture up your stuff quickly. Pretty much, yeah, quickly, to get it done quickly. To smart materials, smart masks, all that sort of stuff are cool and really helpful and useful. So Mari, Painter in that regard is great software. But it just doesn't feel arty enough to me. Whereas when I use Mari, I feel like I'm doing more art, if that makes any sense to you guys. I'm not just hitting sliders in Substance Painter, even though I can get into Painter and do painting as well. Mari just feels like more like an art, like I'm doing art when I'm using Mari. No problem, Smurfberry. And I'm glad it makes sense, Android Lust. I'm probably not explaining myself very well. And I'm not saying I don't like Painter. I do love Painter. I think Substance Painter is great. Actually, before we do these other runs, let's keep going around the outside edge here because we have 3 sections we've got to texture up. So Sniper Girl, good to see you, Sniper Girl. How are you? You hate Painter. I don't hate Painter, Sniper Girl. That is such untrue. But I love Mari. I do love Mari. I ain't gonna lie, I love the Maori. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to paint the initial in, and then we're going to change the blending mode. And throw an invert mask on it. Mobafeld. Thank you for the follow, Mobafeld. Again, I'm sorry if I'm mangling in your username. The guys in chat will tell you I'm terrible with your usernames, guys. So, Mobafeld, thanks for following the channel. I do appreciate it. First thing we're going to do here is we're going to throw an invert. So we're going to do an adjustment layer and do an invert. Cookie, it's good to see you, Cookie. How are you? Cookie says he always gets mine wrong too. That's right. It's Cookie. Come on. I can read Cookie. I don't think I'm that bad. Jeez, you people. Sniper Girl says, doing really well. Have most of the art assets seen textured. Got to make a few more materials for it and UV map it for light maps. And then my part will be done. You? Yes, no, I'm doing well. You know me. Now you see what I mean by moving the model before I bake it down? That just allows me, if I wanted to position it in a different spot before I did a bake down. But I don't want to do that, so I'm going to press the B key and bake that down. And now that I press the B key, it's actually on the baked into the texture map. So that's just another really useful feature though in Mari, if you do want to work that way. It gives you the option to actually move your model around before you bake it down. But yes, no, I'm doing well, thanks Sniper Girl, and it's good to hear about that the model's coming along so well. I won't be showing Sniper Girl's model on stream. She's doing an art test for a job interview for a studio, a game studio. Hello to you too, Cookie. And you're good, that's good to hear. Sniper Girl says hi to Cookie. That's good, Sniper Girl. But the model was looking very nice, Sniper Girl, that you're making up for the art test. It's actually very common when you start applying for work at game studios, not just game studios, mainly game studios. If you're applying for film work, they don't generally ask you to make a model because film models take a very long time to actually make. But if you're applying for work at a game studio, it is very common for them to get you to do an art test. And that just involves making a model that they tell you they want. So, as an example, years ago when I first started working in games, I did an art test where I had to model the Statue of Liberty. That was my art test, to model the Statue of Liberty and texture it up. And I had a day to do it. So they tell you what they want. They might give you some restrictions on your texture size and that sort of thing, which they did for my model. And they give you a time limit. So it varies by studio as to how they want to tackle that, but that's generally the way I found the way they work most times. And Android Lost says to Sniper Girl, finally taking a 2-hour break. That's right. Head down, butt in the air. Sniper Girl says, going to cheat like hell in Unreal, going to apply an automatic dirt dust based on angle. Should add a lot of character to the model. That's not cheating, that's taking advantage of the tool, Sniper Girl. That's not cheating at all. Never think of it like that. If you can use a tool to speed up your workflow and make your model look better, you do it. It's not cheating. It's not cheating. That's actually good. That means that you're taking advantage of tools to actually speed your workflow up. And studios will appreciate that, believe me. Like they want you to, I'm sure, it depends again on the studio, but they want you to enjoy yourself and have fun. Having said that, though, the quicker you can get a model made, the more they're going to love you. Because they are a business after all. They're in business to make money, and they want, and the quicker you can knock stuff out for them, the better. That's any studio, really, not just a game studio. But you just got to sort of balance knocking it out quickly and getting it done properly. And that can be the tricky part. But yeah, don't think it's cheating. Don't ever think that sort of thing is cheating, Sniper Girl. It's not. Not at all. Sniper Girl says, only break I take is sleep. Android Lust says, we know you don't sleep. Sniper Girl says, have to use mostly seamless materials. So I'm limited in dirt and stuff. Yeah, I get that. Figured doing that way would bypass any limitations on the seamless material. It certainly will. That's a very good idea. A very good way to tackle that problem if you're working with, if you have to be working with tiling materials. I'm assuming that's what you mean, Sniper Girl, when you say a seamless material. They want tiling materials for your game model. Which again, very common. It's becoming less common in games nowadays simply because graphics cards have got so much memory. But it's really important if you're going to, like, say you're going to be targeting your game at a mobile platform, mobile phone or tablet, or perhaps even VR. Tileable textures are still really useful there as well. I'm not saying they're not useful in today's games. I'm just sort of saying, you know, the graphics cards now have so much memory. Tileable textures. The reason tileable textures were really big years ago was because, you know, graphics cards only came with like 1 or 2 gigabytes of memory, so you had to really limit how much texture memory you would take up. And a tileable texture, of course, being tiled, will use a lot less memory for a given size than a normal bitmap. So but you're right, that'll be a good way to get around a tileable texture problem, Sniper Girl. If you do want to add more detail to it, which you do. You should all be adding more detail to your models. And Nightbot spamming my links again. Nightbot. Such a naughty robot. Break it down, move it around. Sniper Girl says, already have a dirt dust material already made for another project, just need to copy it over and move, which is good. Don't have to worry about making a new one. Well, that is good. That is one of the things I do love about Substance Painter. The fact you can create, you know, you can do your layer masks, you can use your smart masks to get everything looking pretty, and then you can save that out as a smart material and reuse it, and that saves huge amounts of time. Particularly if you have to apply the same material to a lot of different objects. So I'm all for that, all for using stuff if you can. Yeah, my only criticism, and I've told you guys this before, of Substance Painter, is everyone's assets start to look the same because we all use the same materials, the same shaders. So it's very hard to get your model to look unique. That's why I like Mari here, because I can paint in detailing that is unique to my model. I'm not using a material that's come from Substance that every other designer on the planet is using. Now you can make your own substances in like Alchemist, which I did for the tiles, or in Designer, Substance Designer. That's an option, of course. But Substance Designer is not an easy program to learn. I'm not saying it's impossible to learn, but you're going to have to devote time learning it to get good results out of it. Whereas Mari, because it's more texture painting, it's a more natural workflow. It's easier for people to use. Okay, now we can move up to the second row. I believe we've done around the edge everywhere. Yes, okay. So let's move up to the top row and we'll work our way down. Let me go from left to right, because that's just the way I like to work. Now I do have to be careful here that I don't angle it, so I might accidentally overpaint the objects in the background. So I'm sort of angling it down a little bit so I can avoid that. And let's find a different texture though. Let's go with don't know. Let's see what this one looks like. Now you see that that's what I mean by Substance Painter doesn't load the texture in until you actually drag it into the viewport. That's why there's that slight delay between when I drag it in and when it shows up. It's only at that stage when I drag it in that it's actually loading it into memory. Sniper Girl says, oh no, this is a dust material node in Unreal. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're talking about. So it's a dust material node in Unreal, yeah. Okay. So it's actually one that's built into the Unreal Engine. Is that what you're saying? One that comes with the default install of the engine. Cookie says, I don't think enough people import and use their own detail maps for Substance. Well, that's true too. So they all end up looking similar. Well, no, that's true. I'm not saying you can't get a unique looking texture paint out of Substance Painter. You can. It just, you're either going to have to make your own substance as an alchemist, make them in Designer, or change your detail maps like Cookie has just suggested. So what I'm trying to say, and not doing a very good job of it, is it's much easier to use Mari to detail up your model to look unique. For me, anyway. I mean, I still used Substance to do the initial texture color. I'm only using Mari now to add more detailing to it. That's what I'm trying to say. Now I've got to decide whether I like pardon me, whether I like this texture or not. Let's start by rotating it around. I can always paint it down. We can see if we like it, and if we don't, we just delete the layer. So let's create a new layer, paint it in, and then I'll do I'll change the blending layer. So yeah, I'm basically using Mari on my model here just to add dirt and grime to the texture. Bake it down. Let's play with the blending. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do an invert. And we will let's use the color burn and let's see what that looks like once we knock it back. Yeah, no, let's change it back to the multiply that we've been using all along. I don't think there's anything here that will work better. No. No, we'll stick to the multiply. Multiply works well. Sniper Girl says yes and no. I set up the node setup myself in Unreal. Adds dust to the top of the surface based on surface angle. Okay, it's pretty complicated node setup. Sounds very cool. Dust is important. Dust and dirt. Remember, I've said to you guys all along, make sure you don't make your models too clean, because it looks too fake. Nothing in the real world is clean. You want it to be dirty. So make it dirty. Cookie says, unless it's a bar of soap. Well, that's very true, Cookie. You don't want to make your bar of soap clean. That's the one exception I will accept. If it's a bar of soap, fair enough. Yes, Sniper Girl is alive, Smokeberry Barbecue. She is alive. She hasn't collapsed in a pile yet. Still working on that model of hers though. Okay, let's move around to the other pieces. I'm wondering what I did there. I flipped my model. This is the piece we want. Make sure you get, you guys, look, I know, I'm the same. I love what I do. It can be easy for me to forget to eat, but make sure if you're pulling, like, you know, marathon modeling and texturing sessions, make sure that you take care of yourself and you don't push yourself too hard. Now, it's easy for me to say, and I've done the same thing where I do push myself too hard and I get sick. If you've got a deadline, look, I understand it all, but yeah, make sure you eat, make sure you rest properly, make sure you take breaks as well. You know, don't sit at your desk in your chair for 12 hours on a stretch without getting up and just moving around a little bit for 5 or 10 minutes just to get the circulation flowing. Occupational health and safety, that's what I'm trying to say. Look after yourself. Smokeberry says, speaking of eating, I had a great big bag of cherries, but I ate them all. I want more cherries. Oh, I love cherries. They're so yummy. So yummy. I didn't think cherries were in season yet, Smokeberry. Although I did notice actually that when I went to the supermarket to do my daily supermarket shop the other day, I did notice that, what were they? Nectarines, I think they were. Nectarines from the United States in the fruit section. So we get oranges and nectarines and even grapes, I think, from the United States in our supermarkets. Don't ask me why, because we grow a lot of food in this country ourselves. We're a big farming country, Australia. But yeah, we had these nectarines, I think they were nectarines from the United States. And I thought, wow, that's weird, because I didn't think nectarines were in season yet. But I guess with greenhouses and stuff, they can grow them all year round. I suppose that's a thing. But I'm jealous. I love cherries. Love them. Actually, mango is my favourite fruit though, I have to admit. I love mango. Can never get enough mango. And they're a seasonal thing, so I won't be able to eat them until Christmas time, unfortunately. But when I do, I'm going to pig out on them. Because it's fruit. It's good for you, right? I can eat as much as I want and it's good for me. Isn't that the way it works? Android Lust says, everything is in season in the southern states. Oh, well, there you go. Must be why we get so much fruit from the United States. Look, no offense to you guys in the US, but I tend not to buy fruit from the United States because I don't want to eat fruit that's been shipped halfway around the world, number one. And number two, I'd like to support the farmers in my country here by buying their fruit. So, yeah. That's not dissing you guys in the US. I'm sure your fruit's very nice and very good. But yeah, I really, as an Australian, I have to show allegiance to my country and buy fruit from farmers here. Because farming, can be quite a difficult thing to be doing. Income is not always guaranteed. You're at the mercy of the weather. And now with global warming, we know what the weather's getting like. With that hurricane just off the coast of Florida and stuff at the moment. Category 5 when it went over the Bahamas, I think it was. Global warming. That's global warming, guys and girls. Welcome to the future world, where Category 5 cyclones and hurricanes are a normal thing. But I hope all those people that in those islands that were hit by that cyclone, because it was so slow moving and it sat over those islands for so long, it would have been a terrible thing to sort of like experience. I hope they're okay. I'm just going to miss a couple of spots here and there as well. I just wanted to make it look a bit more natural. I'm not going to paint it all the way along. Everywhere. Cookie says my favourite fruit is avocado. Avocado is pretty cool too. I love avocado. But no, mango is my favourite fruit. Love mango. Yes, but avocado is good. I'm not going to say it's not. I like some avocado as well. Smurfberry says my favourite is probably peach. Well, peaches are nice too. Look, all of this fruit's nice. Yep, don't mind peaches, but still mango for me. So it's mango for me, avocado for Cookie, peaches for Smurfberry. What's your favourite fruit? Okay, and this centre one here, what will we do for the centre one? So we've got like dirt accumulating along the base here, that's why I painted it there. Dirt sort of running down along the top. Let's see what we've got here. What have we got to play with? This one might be interesting. It's just a general just a general dirt. Could be used as a general dirt. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't work, we'll remove the layer and find something else. Cookie says, I really love banana peppers also. I don't know what a banana pepper is. I know what a banana is. What's a banana? So you're talking about like chili peppers, hot peppers. Is that what you mean? Like a yellow pepper. Cookie says, I'm picking fruits that people don't usually think of as fruit. Okay. It's all fruit. It's all fruit. Tomato is a fruit. It's all fruit. I love tomato actually as well. Okay, let's see what this is like. Let's throw down a new layer. You can rename your layers here too if you want. I'm just being a bit lazy. Android Lust says it's a hard choice for me. Maybe honeydew. Yeah, honeydew's nice. But I'll eat all fruit for the most part. Fruit of the loom, Smurfberry says. I have to admit, I like all fruit too. Okay, we're on a new layer, so let's just do an overpaint on this. And I'm going to change the blending mode and see if I like this texture or not. I might not use it, which means I'll just delete the layer. Again, no, I think the first thing we'll do is... Well, I was going to do an invert. Before we do an invert, let's just see what we can do with it the way it is on default. Let's do an invert to see if that looks any better. Change it up a little bit. Just going to pull back here and look at that in combination with the others to see if it's going to work for me or not. Might be okay, just to add a bit of interest here and there. So I won't paint all the way around. I'm just going to choose a couple of spots to paint some of this dirt in. Let's just play with the blending a little bit more to see if I can get an interesting blend. Yeah, it should work for what we want. Cookie says underpants. Don't listen to Smurfberry Barbecue, he's crazy. Snappy Kill says, aren't we all crazy? We are all crazy. We're all crazy. And that's a good thing. Smurfberry says, crazy people are the best people. They are. They're certainly the most entertaining. Smurfberry Barbecue says, crazy people are the best people except for the crazy ones. That's right. Sniper Girl says, I'm killing myself to go into a potentially abusive career field. Sounds like it's crazy to me. Look, I've warned you guys. I have warned you all. And take it from someone that's worked in the games industry. Of all the industries I've worked in, it is the most demanding. It's one of the most demanding industries you could ever choose to work in. Tight deadlines, long hours, little praise and recognition. But hey, look, I get it. You guys love games. I love games too. That's one of the reasons I started working in the games industry. Because I like playing computer games and, I enjoy making them too. I do. But yeah, the hours, the deadlines, it's brutal. It can be brutal. But you're not going to know if you're going to enjoy something until you do it. So my advice to anyone is if you're not sure, then do it and see. If you don't like it, well, it's not like you're trapped in that job forever. You can find another one or go into a different field. Particularly if you do 3D stuff, because, you can work in games, you can work in film, you can work in archviz, you can work in product development, you can work for a toy store, doing like a toy company like Hasbro, doing concept work for them, doing 3D modeling concept work for them. All different sorts of industries if you're a 3D person. Whether that 3D is character 3D or hard surface 3D, there's a huge variety of work around. One of the good things about being a 3D person, you're not stuck in one sort of field. You can move around into different types of fields of work. That's one of the things I really love about doing 3D. And that's one of the reasons I've tried them all, because I like variety. I like doing different things, working for different studios. Even though I've been with the studio I work at now for like 7 years. it's always a good thing to move around studios a little bit, experience, you get to work with different people, see how, because everyone has their own way of doing something in 3D. Like there is no one way fits all. Everyone's got a different way of getting the same result. So it's always good to, if you work in a few different studios, just to see how other people tackle something that they're working on that might be different from the way you would do it. Learning, always learning. That's what I'm trying to say. And not doing a very good job of it. You're always learning new things. Android Lust says domestic violence. Sniper Girl says I like designing over playing, to be honest. Do you? Oh, look, I'm not going to say designing is fun. Designing a game level or making models for a game level, that is fun. It is a fun thing to do. I mean, I like playing games too, though, I have to admit. I don't just want to design them, I want to play them. It's all fun. It's all fun and games till someone gets hurt. Yeah, all I'm trying to say is, yeah, the games industry is known to be one of the most demanding industries to work in. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying other industries aren't demanding. Film or Ouchbiz, they can be demanding too. But yeah, the deadlines and stuff for a game and the work hours generally tend to be really long. That's why all those studios get in trouble. You know, you get the spouse complaining to the media that I haven't seen my husband for like 3 months. He's been working on this game at insert game studio name here, and I never see him. And they expect him to be there from like 5 a.m. in the morning till. Stop doing this. Until midnight, you know. That's just the way it is sometimes. You got a deadline, you got a game, you know, like you have to have, you have things called deliverables if you're making a game, particularly if you've got a publisher, like you're making a game for, let's say, I don't know, a major studio, like Warner Brothers or Fox Studios or whatever. Perhaps you're making a game for them. They give you deadlines that you have to meet, deliverables you have to meet by a certain deadline, the studio that is. And so if the studio does not meet the deadline for the deliverable, then the studio doesn't get a payment. And if the studio doesn't get a payment, you don't get a payment as a worker. So that's the reason the hours can be very long. And it can be very stressful. Mainly for the people that own the studio, because yeah, a lot of them don't, the smaller studios, I don't know about the bigger ones like Ubisoft or EA or anything, but a lot of the smaller studios, their cash flow is very limited. So it's not like they've got like $500,000 in the bank that they can cover wages for everybody. So if they don't meet the deliverable, they don't meet the deadline, they don't get the payment, people don't get paid. And that can be a real issue. So just bear that in mind, guys and girls. It usually it doesn't happen if it's managed, if the studio is managed well, that shouldn't be a problem. But I've seen a lot of studios that are not managed very well, particularly game studios. That should be good. I just wanted to add a little bit of dirt to the initial color map, just to give it a bit more interest. So let's save our project. And let us export this texture. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to export flatten. So it's going to condense everything down just to one texture map. Let us put it's in the correct subfolder. I'm just going to make a new folder called Painted, because I don't want to overwrite my original texture. And I'm going to save it out as a PNG file because that's what we've been working with. In Mari, you can save it out into dozens of formats, whether it's TIFF, PNG, Targa, JPEG, EXR. There's a huge amount of different file formats you can save out in as. We will use PNG. I'm going to export all patches. The color depth of the current target is 16-bit half. An image in a 16-bit half cannot be exported as PNG. Okay, just PNG is telling me it can only be exported as 8-bit, not 16-bit in this program. You could change that in the settings here, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to save it as a PSD file then instead, which is fine. What were my other options? It was PSD, TIFF, HDR, EXR, DDS. DDS would be good if you're making a game, but I don't want to save it as a DDS at this stage. We'll save it as a PSD file, yeah. Photoshop format file. Cookie says, I do 3D modeling for manufacturing. Well, there you go. Very diverse field for sure. It certainly is, yep. Sniper Girl says, posted a couple more images in Discord. Again, please don't show them on the stream. I do want to show Android Lust's character, but I'll do that just before we finish the stream. But I won't show your work, don't worry. I'm just going to check them out though. Looking very nice, though, Sniper Girl. I can see what you've posted here. Looking cool. I like the design as well of the shopfront. Cookie is asking, does Mari manage all of the separate map channels like Substance? Yes, it does. Yeah, it's pretty much just like Substance, where you can manage all your map channels separately. Android Lust says to Sniper Girl, I wish my city had an architecture like that. So do I. Melbourne. I live in Melbourne in Australia, for anyone that doesn't know. It's watching my stream, might not have watched me before. And we do have some very nice old buildings here in Melbourne, but not compared to places like Europe. Europe have got some of the most beautiful architecture. Cities like Paris. I mean, some of the architecture in Paris is beautiful. Not just Paris, England, Britain, Italy. Some of the architecture in Italy is just outstanding. So we don't have any of that because Australia is too new. Like, we're only a couple of 100 years old. So let me jump now back into... I'm actually just going to open up Photoshop here. I want to do a conversion of that file from PSD to PNG. Considering it wouldn't let me do it off the bat. Let's find that PSD file. I prefer to have it as a PSD anyway because it's a bit more usable as PSD than PNG. But I want PNG for Max and for Eonview. Rail border main 2 painted. Okay, let's save this as a PNG. I'm not going to call it base color. I'm going to call it can't spell. Painted. What is the thing called? Rail border 2. That's what it is. We'll save it as small as file size. That's fine. Remember, PNG is a lossless format, so you're not losing color information by doing the compression, by saving it as the smallest file size, because the actual file format itself is lossless. Unlike JPEG, which is lousy or lossy, you lose information. Oh, okay. It's still saving out. There we go. Let's jump back into 3D Studio Max. And just wait for Max's viewport to refresh. Cryptic, thank you for following the channel. Cryptic, my apologies for taking so long to notice. Thanks Cryptic for the follow. I do appreciate it, guys. When you follow me on Twitch. Okay, let's find the shader we're using for that base down there. And it's this one here.
Are you ready?
I'm just looking at the reason it's darkened up here is because when Mari saved the image out, it saved it as that 16-bit file, so we may have to do a bit of gamma correction. In fact, I'm sure we are going to have to do some gamma correction, so before I bring it in, I'll bring it in and then we'll jump back into Photoshop so I can gamma correct it. Just waiting for Max here. There we go, but you see how it's darkened it up too much? So I'm just going to jump back into Photoshop. And we'll throw an adjustment layer down. And I'm just going to adjust the gamma. We might try taking it to... I like to do this on all of my textures regardless. Like once we've textured them up, I've added my detailing, then I like to look at the model, look at all the different textures to see if any of them could benefit from a gamma change or a tint change or all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I always like to just to go over the textures and make any small changes after the model's textured up that I think might look good. I'm going to save it as PNG. We're going to overwrite that one. Yes, I want to replace it. Andrew, Sniper Girl says to Android Lust, same here. Smokeberry says my city's architecture is mostly bricks. Sniper Girl says to Android Lust, literally spent a day on Google Maps Street View going up and down New York City and Chicago trying to find a reference. Actually, that's a really good point Sniper Girl makes. If you live in a city that doesn't have nice architecture, jump on Google Maps and get inspiration that way as to what you might want to make. That's a very good idea, Sniper Girl. And that's better. Now we have the lighter version. Max automatically recognized we changed the bitmap. So I just wanted to add a little bit more detailing to that outside edge there. I want to do the same for this outside edge here. So, what's this one called? This one's called Stair Border 2. Let's just do a quick save before I do anything else. Because you never know. Software. Crash. I'm just waiting for Max to finish its save. There we go. I'm just catching up with the Discord. Don't think if you post in Discord that I won't see it, because I will see it. Discord is opened all the time while my Twitch chat is also open. So what is this one? Stair Border 2. Stair Border 2. Back into Mari. Make sure we saved. Create a new project. We're going to call this one Stair Border 2. Let's open it up. Let me find it. Stair Border 2. And create a new project. Sniper Girl says, no, the feeling, same for my town. Sniper Girl says, I prefer TGA for Unreal. Find that it works better. I like TGA as well. I generally work in TGA. I've only been working in PNG for the last project, or for this project, because I know I'm going to take it into Unreal. PNG is the file size on PNG is a bit smaller than Targa. Targa, the file sizes can get quite large. It's like TIFF. PNG, the file sizes I found are smaller. It compresses more. Cryptic Geo says, wow, that was beautiful. Thank you. Actually, you're new and you haven't seen it, have you? So let me jump back into Max. For anyone that's watching that didn't see what we're working on and just saw me working in Mari. Yeah, this is the model we've been working on. We did the initial texturing in Substance Painter, and now we're just doing an overpaint in Mari on a couple of the assets just to make them look a bit more interesting. But yes, that's the model that we're working on, and I'm going to be taking this into Eonview, setting up a 3D environment with plants and all that sort of stuff, grass, what have you, sky. We'll be doing a 3D environment in Eonview to do beauty renders for this model so I can sell it in my 3D store. I'm also going to be taking this model into UE4 because I'm working on a game and I want this model to be in the game that the studio I'm working with are making. So you haven't said no. I didn't think you had because I didn't recognize your name. So yeah, this is the model we've been working on, and that's what we're working on now with the different bits and pieces in Mari. Zoom in here so you can get a better look at the textures we've got going on. So that's just for those people, the benefit of those people that are watching my channel and are new to it and might be wondering, what is this guy working on? What's he doing? But I'm glad you like it, Cryptic Geo. Thank you. Sniper Girl says, quick question. How many studios do you think are working on the next Spider-Man game? Well, there'll only be one. Oh, well, generally, probably, yeah. They don't farm it out to like 10 different studios generally. Generally, it's just one or two will work on a game franchise. A movie franchise game, I should say. Most game studios don't outsource their work. They do it all in-house. That's why the publisher goes to them to begin with, because they want them to do it all. They don't want them farming it out to other third parties. It's back to NDA and all that sort of stuff. Not being able to talk about what they're working on. They can't use third parties to do the work for them. Smokeberry says TFW Unreal doesn't support TIFF. TIFF is not a great file format to use for a game. That's probably why they don't. Because it's huge. TIFF files are probably the biggest file format of them all. TIFF files are used a lot in print. So if you're doing print work, magazine prints, business cards, anything to do with print, you generally give them a TIFF file. It's pretty much the only place that use TIFF a lot is print. Andrew Luss says, speaking of software crashing, I tried Arnold's GPU rendering for the first time. Normally I use the CPU renderer. Everything had to be perfect or it crashed on me. Oh no! That's no good, Android Dust. Cryptic says, no I haven't. Cryptic says it's gorgeous. Are those end flares on the front of the pillars sculpted out? Are you talking about this or are you talking about this? If you're talking about this or this, that's actually photogrammetry. So if you go to my YouTube channel, this entire project is in video format on my YouTube channel. So just go to Phil Does 3D, YouTube/Phil Does 3D. I took this, I've been streaming this project from the very beginning, and what I wanted to do, the reason I streamed it on Twitch was because I wanted to show you guys how you could take photogrammetry and turn it into something unique and new, which is what we did here. So that is photogrammetry, and that is photogrammetry, the statues here and the detailing here underneath of the dome, that's photogrammetry. Just that bit and this bit. And this fountain we're going to put in here. But I wanted to show you how you could take, a couple of different pieces of photogrammetry photos and make something unique. So the rest of it's all been modeled by hand. So we took the photogrammetry pieces, we modeled pieces by hand to make a completely unique and new looking model. Because I get a lot of questions from people saying, oh, if I do 3D as for a living, won't photogrammetry put me out of work? Like AI will just be able to take photos and make 3D models? Well, that's true, but if you can make something unique out of that photogrammetry model, which AI will never be able to do because AI can't be creative. Just that's not in our lifetime anyway. So yeah, if you want to stay relevant and always make sure you've got work in the industry, don't just photograph a mailbox, turn it into photogrammetry and call it a day. You want to take that model that you get from photogrammetry and turn it into something new, which is what we did here. And that was the reason that I decided to do this project. Cryptic says, or is that low poly with text? No, it's not high poly, but it's not low poly either. It's photogrammetry. I did an optimization pass. Again, it's all the videos are on my YouTube channel. I did an optimization pass on the photogrammetry to reduce the poly count. Quite substantially. Oh yes, and this down here. I'll zoom in so you can get a better look. There we go. Yeah, it's two lions, a little boy, a woman, and this is actually meant to be a boat, I believe. Yeah, it's like the bow of a boat. It could be a chariot. You could be right. It might be a chariot. I don't know. Actually, it is a chariot because there's the wheel. You know more than I do. So there you go. Smepper says, yeah, well, TGA isn't 16-bit. Cryptic says, angels and lines. I didn't put any angels in this one, thank God. Yeah, again, that could be like a wings in the background. Sniper Girl says, the cryptic photogrammetry is the art of creating 3D models from several different photographs. Yes, that's what it is. I use, it depends on whether I'm doing work for the studio or I'm doing work for myself, but I have 3 different pieces of photogrammetry software installed. Let me just hide my camera for a minute. I have context capture, which is made by Bentley Software. Reality capture, which is made by Capturing Reality. And Metashape, made by a company called Agisoft. I generally use reality capture now, simply because it's the fastest. The other two don't use GPU as much as reality capture. Reality capture, because it's written in CUDA, so you need an NVIDIA GPU to use it, is really, really fast, like really fast. So I use reality capture. The studio, though, when I'm doing work for the studio, they use context capture by Bentley Software. Sniper Girl says he uses reality. Thank you. My apologies, I'm slow with reading my chat. Sniper Girl says can set up Metashape to use the graphics card, still as slow as hell and a resource hog. Yeah, and Bentley context capture, it makes a bit of use of the graphics card too, but not like reality capture. Reality capture is written from the ground up to use CUDA, and the whole from triangulation to meshing to texturing uses the GPU, whereas the others only use it a little bit in different stages of the photogrammetry. So that's why reality capture is the fastest, and that's the one I use. It gives you really nice results as well. So remember when I spoke about the 3 at the beginning of this project, I showed you an example of the same model created from each of the 3 different pieces of software, and we compared the detail between the 3. So look at the video on YouTube if you want to know about the differences between the 3 different versions of the software and see a comparison of the same model made in the 3 different versions of the software. So what are we working on? That's what we're working on this, aren't we? And let's watch Stair Border 2. And we've already brought it into Mari, I believe, didn't we? Yes, we did. Okay, let's load up the texture map for it. You see, it didn't remember my... Really annoying. And we're looking for Stair Border 2. And we want the base color. Okay, let's import our dirt maps again. The reason I have to do this every time I create a new project is because Mari saves all this information on a per project basis, and it does that so you can take your project, and it's made for people that work in film that need to have a lot of people working on one project, so you can then just take that project, give it to someone else, and they can open it up and everything's incorporated and ready to go. That's the reason I have to keep opening up the same files in different projects. It's just in case people are wondering why I didn't remember these files. It's because it treats every project as a unique entity so that you can easily give it to other people to work on. Sniper Girl says I use reality capture. Yeah, Sniper Girl uses reality capture too. Sniper uses Metashape, Agisoft Metashape. Now there's free photogrammetry software as well. You don't have to spend a cent. It's called Alice Vision, I believe. Yes. I'll put a link in the Twitch chat so that you guys can check it out. If you're interested in looking at doing some photogrammetry, download this program. It's completely free. You can download it and you can test out doing some photogrammetry yourself. All you need is a camera, at least 8 megapixels or higher. And you'll be able to test out making some photogrammetry stuff as well. And I know Smoper has played with this software. There's another one of my moderators called Sniper Echo. He's played with this software as well. And from what they say, it's very good. And it's free. Open source. Check it out. Don't have to spend a cent. The same for Mari again. If you want to use Mari, download the free version from their website. Fully functional, just with a 4K texture limit, like you can't export textures bigger than 4K. Oh, Smurfberry says requires NVIDIA GPU. Are you talking about Alice Vision, Smurfberry? I didn't realise that. I didn't know Alice Vision required NVIDIA as well. I know reality capture you do need NVIDIA. Let's create a new layer here. And let's load in a texture. So yes, if you're going to use reality capture, you do need an NVIDIA GPU. But I'm not sure about Alice Vision. Getting my shortcut keys mixed up. Let's start by painting the layer down, and then we will change the blending mode.
You don't talk at all, just surrender to the lonely road. Left with nowhere to run, held by the curse we know.
Just move that texture out of the way. We'll do an invert on the layer. And that should be good. I might just pull it back a little bit. Smurfberry says, if any of you know how to program OpenCL, feel free to write up a depth map plugin and submit a pull request so we can throw off the shackles of CUDA. Yeah, CUDA's been used quite a bit in a lot of software. That's one of the reasons why I generally buy NVIDIA hardware, because a lot of the software I use uses CUDA. Although it's not as popular as it used to be, like with Vulkan and stuff taking off now, with the AMD stuff getting better. Pardon me, I got a tickle in my throat. You know, I really should have added a new layer before I started painting here, so I'm just going to add a new one now. Better late than never. Will I? No, I won't. We'll go back to this layer. We'll continue on with painting on the same layer. Would have been better if I added a new layer though, just in case I did something I didn't like. That would have been easier for me to remove, but it should be fine. I'll live dangerously. I'm just going to do the other side before we tackle the top one. You should write one, Smurfberry. You write a plugin using OpenCL. Smurfberry says, I don't know how to program. I would program so much stuff. You can always learn. Cookie says, I do, and I don't dare touch GPU APIs. I don't blame you. Smurfberry says, graphics programming is voodoo. You cannot convince me otherwise. So once we've finished doing the overpaint on a few of these different bits and pieces, we're going to jump into Eonview and we'll create an interesting landscape with plants. I'm not sure what yet, I haven't really thought that far ahead. We're going to have to recreate the PBR materials once we import the model into Eonview. I'm still deciding whether I'm going to do the rendering using View in Max, because part of Eonview is you can either run the standalone program or you can integrate it into Max, and it is integrated into my version of Max. So I haven't decided yet whether I will use it in Max and do the rendering using V-Ray and Eonview in Max, or whether I will use the standalone program Eonview and do the rendering using View's rendering engine. I'm not sure yet. Still thinking about which way I'm going to go there. One of the benefits of me doing the rendering in Max using View and V-Ray is that I want to add particle effects like water for the fountain that sits under the dome, and also fire effects for the urns that go around the outside. And I want to use Phoenix, which is made by Chaos Group, the people that make V-Ray, to do that. So it might be better and easier if I do it all in Max. But yeah, I'm still deciding. Not sure yet. Not sure which way I want to go. When the time comes for us to start doing it, we can make a choice then. And you're not limited to one or the other. If you start doing it in Max, you can save the View file and you can open that in the standalone program later if you want. So we're not really restricted one way or the other. Okay, I want something different for the top here. This one might be okay. Let's create a new layer though. Oh, we already did. We didn't use it. Let's use this layer now. Get it positioned. Paint it down. Break it down. Let's change our layer to an inverted layer. And change our blend to a multiply. Let me just move that out of the way so we can make some adjustments. Sniper Girl says, wow, I have one more seamless material to make and then a few signs and decals and then the texture work will be done. Cool. Are you on a deadline, Sniper Girl, at all? Like, did they say to you, give it to us by in 2 days or 1 day? Did they give you any sort of deadline like that? I'm just curious. Don't actually like this texture. I'm just going to see if there's something that's a little bit better. Let's try this one. Sniper Girl says, yeah, I had 10 days total. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, because it's quite normal to be given a deadline. Sniper Girl says I'm way ahead of deadline, which is where I want to be. Well, that gives you more time to refine and make, you know, all that sort of stuff. Are there any areas that you might have overlooked? I'm the same. If I have a deadline, I try and get it done as quickly as I can to allow myself wriggle room to polish, to add some polish in case the thing needs it. So it's always a good thing to do, always. Cookie says, well, that's not very realistic. Aren't deadlines usually yesterday? Yep, they usually are. 10 days, actually, that's quite generous of the studio to give you 10 days to do it. Although it's actually, I get quite a substantial model you need to make. Yeah, no, 10 days though. They've given you a good amount of time to do it. Like they haven't told you you've only got 2 days, that sort of thing. 10 days is, yeah, it's good. They obviously don't want you to kill yourself making it for them, which is a good thing. Sniper Girls, Cookie says, Cryptic says, are these stock stencils or masks in Mari? No, these are part of a texture set that I purchased, Cryptic, called Bases and Graffiti. 3D Total Textures, they make a whole range of different textures that you can buy, and that's what these are. These are from 3D Total Textures, Bases and Graffiti. All they are basically is they're just a set of alpha maps, really. Black and white maps. They're being nice to you, Sniper Girl says. Sniper Girl says, my net isn't great. Need to upload the Unreal file, the Maya file, textures. Want to get stuff done on Friday. That way I can spend 2 days total to upload. Oh, okay, cool. Well, that makes sense. If your net isn't very good, allowing yourself time to get it all uploaded is important. So yeah, no, these are just black and white textures. I'm using Cryptic, but they were textures I purchased as part of a texture pack. But you don't have to. You can make them. Just photograph some concrete that's got a discoloration in it, turn it to a black and white, and you can use it then as a dirt mask if you want. You certainly don't need to buy anything special. You can make them yourself. I was just lazy. Keep doing that. I keep flipping my model around. Notebook Girl says, made that mistake before. Had an art test that I sent in late due to my upload speed. Yeah, that's never good. Live and learn. That's right, Sniper Girl. Live and learn. Just going to zoom out a little bit more on this model. Android Lust says, slow upload pissed me off when I had it. I would have been furious. Listen, you guys know when I first started streaming here on Twitch, because I live in Australia and most of the country used to have potato internet. I get it. I know what it's like to have crappy potato internet, because it's only been in the last, year or so that we've got decent internet in this country now with the new government. What do they call it? National Broadband Network. That's it, NBN. So, yep. Up until then, I had potato internet. My uploads were crap. I don't know if you guys used to watch my stream when I first started streaming. I know Sniper Echo did, but he's not here at the moment. I was streaming on really potato internet. I'm amazed I could stream at all. It was that bad. Snappy Girl says, here I was, watched you that far back. Yeah, I was streaming on really crappy internet. It's like I said, only been in the last year or so that I've had the National Broadband Network, so my internet speed has finally caught up with what most of the rest of the developed world have. Okay, let us export this now. Export flattened or flattened. We're going to create a new folder. We're going to call it painted. And we're going to save it as a PSD file. And I'm going to call it, what's it called? Border 2, stairs border 2. Stairs border 2. Stairs border 2 painted .pst. Okay, we're going to jump into Photoshop because I want to convert it. Is that gamma? I want to convert it to a TGA. So we are looking for stairs border 2. Stairs border 2, painted. And again, we're just going to do an adjustment layer and do a gamma correction of 2. And save it as a PNG. Stairs border 2. Sniper Girl says, be honest, can't wait to get this into Unreal. Used Quixel Mixer to make all my materials. Find it fast way to make PBR materials from scans. I really can't wait to see what it looks like in Unreal. I'm sure it's going to look really cool. Okay, let's jump back into Max. Wait for Max's viewport to refresh. And load up our painted texture. Let's just find where it is. So it's this one here. And there we go. So it's just adding a little bit more interest, a little bit more dirt. Whoops. On these railing sections. So what else do I need to texture up? I want to add a bit of dirt to these sections here. I want to add a bit of dirt on the steps and probably a little bit of dirt on the bases around here. But that's a good start. We've got a good start going on. But I think we might leave it there for today, guys and girls. I do want to thank you all though very much for hanging out with me and for watching. I will be back on Monday next week. Remember, I stream live on Mondays and Tuesdays. That's when I'm live on Twitch. And then Friday and Saturday, if you missed the streams, they're repeats of Mondays and Tuesdays stream. Android Dust says it would save us all Maya users so much. I wish Maya had actual real-time preview and not semi-real-time. You're quite welcome, Sniper Girl. I do want to thank you all very much for being here and watching and hanging out with me. I'll be back on Monday next week. We'll pick up where we left off here and just doing a bit of overpainting in Mari by the Foundry. And once we've done that, it's only a couple more pieces I want to overpaint. Then we're going to jump into Eonview and do the beauty renders. You guys have a great weekend, rest of the week and weekend. Take care, stay safe, and I will hopefully see you all on Monday next week at 5 p.m. Pacific in the US, the normal time. See you guys next week.